Sunday continues in the Sun Belt Conference as Marshall hosts Georgia State. The number 3 seed Thundering Herd takes on the number 6 seed Georgia State Panthers from the Dick Gillette Soccer Stadium in Morgantown, West Virginia. An updated look at your Sun Belt Men's Soccer Championship bracket. Both of the top 2 seeds pushed to the brink. Kentucky in penalties gets past Coastal Carolina, and then West Virginia does the same against Old Dominion PKs to send the Mountaineers to the semifinals. Who will face them? We'll find out now. That's Adam Zundel. I'm Eric Little. Thank you for joining us for the Sun Belt quarterfinal on ESPN Plus. Really good first quarterfinal today, and we'll see a rematch in the regular season of in the second quarterfinal between Marshall and Georgia State.
Yeah, in that first one, Georgia State went up early and Marshall came roaring back, but you get the sense that Marshall's built for the postseason. Georgia State had a really good result against West Virginia, knocking them off, but they haven't won since. Can they conjure some of that magic here tonight?
Well, here's what these teams did in the first meeting earlier this year. Marshall with 3 unanswered goals after Georgia State took that early lead. Marshall may have needed a wake-up call.
Yeah, and Georgia State got that goal right before half. You thought, okay, Georgia State's going to go in, but Marshall responded before half even ended. It was 1-1 and then got 2 right at the start of the second half, and it was all Thundering Herd after that.
Georgia State's offense led by Samir Jeha, a team best 6 goal. This guy can do it from anywhere.
Yeah, transfer from the University of Montreal. He's like a gazelle out there. Coach Sertz tells us he leads the team both in goals and assists, so things do run through him. However, he doesn't have a point in the last 5 matches. He's only taken 5 shots in the last 4 matches.
And Marshall led by High Pintos, 4 goals this season. This is a Thundering Herd team, though, that, as you said, built for the postseason. They do their best work in tournament time.
Yeah, and they have a lot of different offensive options. They don't have a true number 9. High Pinto was a second-team All-Sun Belt Conference team leader with 4 goals, second season in a row with 4 goals. He'll be playing his 50th career start here tonight. He's also 5 for 5 on PKs. Just keep that in mind as well.
We saw it in the last match. We'll see if we have to go there in this one. The winner on to face West Virginia, the semis. It's Marshall and Georgia State coming up next.
Bank Plus keeps life moving.
Okay.
Because 99% of banking doesn't happen at the bank.
Have a good one.
Or at least it shouldn't. We're doing our best job when you don't have to think about it.
Let's make an offer.
When all you see is possibility.
We expand the kitchen in there. We'll make it all back in 6 months.
And you don't have to ask. Because life sure doesn't.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's really bad.
And we're here for it. All of it.
Weird, but beautiful.
Bank Plus. It's more than a name. It's a promise.
After 6 years of military service, Tech Sergeant Barubi wanted to plant roots and watch them grow. He was ready to live in his hometown again. He was ready for the reserve.
The heart of Louisiana's Cajun and Creole country, a melting pot of generations passing along a recipe of joie de vivre. Live music, boiled crawfish, and the smell of gumbo in the 5th season. This is Lafayette, a parish filled with culture and hospitality unlike any other. It takes more than a quick visit to understand why we're the happiest city in America. Start planning yours. Allons à Lafayette.
Aha! I knew it! You are stealing my Jersey Mike's gig.
Danny, it's just because Jersey Mike's is an official sponsor of the NFL. I'm not taking your gig.
Now you're taking my look.
This is how I dress.
My glasses. I've been looking for those.
I wear glasses. I have astigmatism.
I'll give you astigmatism.
Ready for you on set, Eli.
I gotta go.
Oh. This ain't over, Manning.
Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Hey, that's my line. A sub above.
Just about ready to go here in Morgantown. Georgia State and Marshall meeting for the 5th time. Marshall leads this series 2-0-2. You see Georgia State in the blue and black kits, Marshall in the green and white vertical stripes today.
Yeah, it's worth noting that Marshall has both of its wins over Georgia State were at home, but drew both of those matches on the road.
And again, this is a neutral site match. The fans that are here are largely clad in the green and white and the green and black. So if anything, this would favor to be a pro-Marshall atmosphere. However, we're in Morgantown.
Yeah, that would be an interesting dynamic, wouldn't it, as we're getting ready here. And as we saw in the first match, you're going to have to kind of create your own energy from the bench on the field with the 11s. You're going to have to talk and communicate and be excited because you're not going to get a big jolt from the crowd here today, being away from home for both of these squads.
Taking a look at what Georgia State's done thus far this year, the number 6 seed in the Sun Belt, 4-7-6. A lot of draws this year in the Sun Belt. Just goes to show you the parity in the league. 2-4-2 in the league, and in the last 5, they have just 1 win.
Yeah, again, things did not go as well after that big victory against West Virginia. Haven't been able to get on the right side of it. But in getting that win against West Virginia, you've seen the quality that they're able to put together.
You look at Brett Surensey, the head coach of the Georgia State Panthers. Again, this Panthers also, again, from the Atlanta area. This a little cooler here than what they usually see in Atlanta this time of year.
Yeah, and he had that face mask on. Coach Surensey did. He's the program's leader in wins. Produced 9 win seasons 10 different times. Former coach of the year in the Sun Belt and led the team to 2 NCAA appearances in its first ever NCAA tournament win. That was back in 2021.
Marshall fans ready to go. The Sun Belt Conference handed out some awards. And again, West Virginia swept the top 2 with the same guy, Marcos Caldera, the Player of the Year and the Offensive Player of the Year. Neither one of these teams represented, but again, Kentucky using the Goalkeeper of the Year and the Coach of the Year to get through to the next round. Those PKs stopped by Sebastian Conlon.
Yeah, it was quite a quarterfinal round, and so far we're going to see what happens here tonight. But again, when you finish atop the table, the awards generally come your way. You see that reflected in what was able to be handed out. And you also see that in the all-conference awards, definitely reflected the top of the table as well.
Playoff time is the right time for Marshall head coach Chris Grassi. 7 straight NCAA appearances, looking to make it an 8th this year. The national champions within this decade, the runners-up in the NCAA tournament last year. They are ready for a November and maybe a December to remember. In goal for Georgia State. Get a look there at Lone Marin out of Lyon, France, the senior, ready to turn Marshall away today. Thundering Herd going to counter with Eddie DeMarco, a career high in saves twice. One of those 5 saves against West Virginia here on Halloween night.
Yeah, coming into action this season after an injury to Dan Rose. So has played well. He went 4 straight matches with shutouts. Things went a little sideways in that match against West Virginia, but bounced back with a clean sheet to close out the regular season against UCF.
We are underway from Morgantown, and I think we've said this a couple times. If this, at least off the air, if this quarter is anything near, or at least has half the energy and excitement of what we saw to the first quarter, then we are in for a fun evening. Good run from Sandro Ribiravoni. Georgia State reverses it to the left side. Played into the zone, but brought out by Marshall.
Yeah, we saw in those quarterfinal matches, both of the top 2 seeds pushed to penalties. And so this is the 3-6 matchup. And, you know, one of the things we talk about Marshall being built for the postseason, they are just so difficult to break down and beat. They don't make mistakes. They have a way about them, a presence I don't really love to use the word swagger, but definitely you think Marshall has a swagger about them that
There's a quiet confidence.
yeah, I mean, and when as in terms of being a 3 seed is going to be tough because they're going to be a tough out in this tournament. They're going to be a tough out in the next tournament. They're a tough out whenever you play them. So it's they're just built. They're just built for this.
Again, Marshall well represented in the NCAA tournament the last 5 years. They win it in 2020 and then runners-up last year.
And you see a good mix of programs there. The only team that appears twice are Marshall and Indiana. That's some pretty good Clemson there as well. That's some good company that you're in line with. So certainly what Chris Grassi has done has been tremendous, elevating that program. He did it at the University of Charleston. Cut his teeth there, built that program into a national power, wasn't able to get the national championship there, left the reins to Dan Stratford, who took care of that, but moved to the Division I level and gets that star on the chest for the Thundering Herd.
Marshall trying to put together their first attack of the evening. Joao Alves.
And for whatever it's worth, Marshall did play here in Morgantown just recently. Familiarity with the pitch. West Virginia played at Georgia State, so this squad did not come up to this field earlier this year.
Taken away. Ravaravoni. Good ball inside. Jeha. And a leaping save made by Eddie DeMarco.
Nice save there by DeMarco. Jeha gets the shot off from distance. And then we saw the wind play a factor in that first match. It's a steady wind right now, but it's not quite as heavy as it was before. It was gusting.
Those flags are not as starched as they were earlier.
No.
A couple times. Those things were, the meter was pegged to the max.
Yeah. It made it maybe a little bit more difficult to read. And of course, here in this night match, there's not the sun to deal with. So it's a little bit more of a traditional look. I think both teams would be pretty comfortable with these conditions.
It's also a little cooler without that sun, so that's
the
downside.
And I think I think for the most part, these athletes will be ready for that. It's not too cold. I mean, they're used to this.
It is what you expect this time of the year.
Right. That's right.
Attack on the left flank. David de la Vibora. Shoved to the left side. Can't link up with Carl Romberg.
Romberg with the brace against UCF the last time out. Came up big for the Thundering Herd.
Marshall closed out their regular season with that 2-0 victory on Tuesday.
Romberg is a junior college transfer from Tyler Junior College, and when he was playing the postseason last year, he had 3 goals in 4 postseason games. So you talk about having a profile, having the DNA for knockout matches. He certainly put that on display last season.
Georgia State fell in its last regular season match, 3-1 to Georgia Southern back home on Tuesday. That State-Southern rivalry, a huge deal. It's a conference that's built on rivalries. West Virginia, Marshall won, Georgia State, Georgia Southern. Marshall tries to attack again on the left edge. De La Vibora. Back to the middle, trying to direct traffic. Boots it to the edge. Brought down. Touch from Takahiro Fujita. A run from Pakamov. Sends this one to Fujita in the corner, turning the edge. And Fujita earns Marshall a corner.
That's a guy that's earned all Sun Belt honors in each of his 3 seasons, 2-time second team, first team this year. He's been sidelined and slowed by injuries, but he definitely makes an impact. He's got 50 career games under his belt, lots of experience, likes to work on that right side of the creep, and does well in these 1v1 situations, as you just saw.
Alvaro Alvarez getting ready to take the corner into the wind for Marshall. A high arching kick, stops, headed away. Georgia State trying to get there, not able to do it. Taken away by Romberg. Gets a trailer. De La Vibora can really handle it inside the 18. Good cross. Knocked sky high.
Yeah, De La Vibora's emergence this season has been really big for Marshall. Second team, all conference, all freshman team. We get another look at that sequence there.
The maneuverability, what really impresses you about De La Vibora.
Yeah, he's got a great engine as well. Works real hard.
And there's a definite second gear with him. That's something that you don't see out of everybody. There's that just extra little push. Tried to link up with Steven Otto and couldn't do it. Spinning in circles, Pavel Romero Garmendia. Virgil Dalinol. This one's belted deep. Couldn't link up with Jehan.
Yeah, and Jehan's a guy that can stretch a defense. So look for Georgia State to, at times, in possession, maybe find a ball over the top or get him in space.
Good ball from De La Vibora to Pinto. Maybe a little too hot for Pinto to handle. And 4 goals, a team best. So both teams have tried to get their goal scorers involved here in the first 10 minutes.
And we're seeing a good high press here from Marshall, trying to win that ball, put Georgia State's backs under some pressure, win the ball, and get going again. Thundering Herd love to be in possession and harass you.
I think there's something to that. If you can wear your opponent down, again, it's just the mental edge of always having your opponent on defense.
It was one of the things that was just so interesting to see. West Virginia played so well in that match against Marshall. It just didn't look like a typical Marshall performance there, and you give credit to West Virginia for that. But Marshall definitely looked a little out of sorts in that one. And I think Coach Grassi even conceded that as well. It just was not their day.
West Virginia waits for the winner of this one after their thrilling victory in PKs over Old Dominion earlier this afternoon. Or actually went into the evening.
Yeah, it started in the end.
Tied at 2 going into overtimes. Took PKs to decide that one. Fujita not able to hang on.
And the goals that got us there were really something else.
No question. Have a look at that yourself at the halftime show.
Good tease there.
I like that early tease.
Yeah.
That's me like Steph Curry pulling up from 40 feet.
There you go.
Marshall retreats and gets control of this. If you're Georgia State, how do you want to try to force some aggression on offense here and get something going?
I think you just have to find your spots. You're going to probably understand that you're not going to have the possession advantage in this one. So put some pressure on when you can. Try to win the ball in a good spot. And if you can free up some of your attacking players with some speed and pace and maybe get a counter, because, as much as possession as Marshall has, they will give you some opportunities perhaps in transition. And those opportunities will have some quality to them, some good looks. So you have to be patient and wait for those. And you have to also absorb a lot of pressure to get there.
Fujita delivered that one in the middle, down the left edge. De La Vibora on goal, swatted away, still loose. And Georgia State covers. First real attack on goal we've seen all match. Punched away by Lone Marine.
And Marine leads the league in saves, and Coach Shernsey doesn't want him to add to that total a ton tonight, but you have to think that he's going to have to come up with a few. And this is a good ball over the top. This is what you're talking about, trying to stretch that Marshall defense. But look at all those white shirts getting back.
Jayha looking to make a Willie Mays style gather. Gavin Williams delivers it to the left edge. Tom Williams plays it over to Pavel Romero Garmendia. And again, like you said earlier, this is going to have to be Georgia State taking advantage of their opportunities, making the most.
Yeah, so that ball over the top, it didn't lead to the goal, a look that you wanted for offense. But look, it's led to a little bit of possession here. So after winning that ball, Georgia State able to try and string a few passes together and build some possession, but really nothing of quality yet quite deep in the attacking third.
Not be on your heels for at least a little bit. We'll try again. In the middle, Sandro Biravoni on the left edge finds Williams, Tom Williams. There's Romero Garmendia. A run on the left edge, Austin Javaria. Now it's Georgia State playing keep away. Breeze is freshened somewhat. It's a swirling wind. Depends on which flags you're looking at as to which direction the wind is blowing.
Georgia State had a little bit of possession there, but wasn't able to string anything of danger. So, and Marshall will be content with that. Nice build up here from the third.
Carol Pakamoff goes to the right side.
This is good for Marshall here, controlling the pace and the tempo, speeding things up in a sequence, and then slowing it back down.
Coming up on 15 minutes in. Just one shot for Georgia State. Good ball in, sent away by Iverson Manogo Kwangu. The only corner of the match belongs to Marshall. They got that very early on. David De La Vabora wanted that one. They tried to go that way, but wind carried it back into the Georgia State zone, and they win the battle. The rain starts to pick up.
That's a difficult pass to try and connect there. And again, you're seeing Marshall with the ball here. And this is kind of a typical Marshall Chris Grassy thing. They'll stand on it and survey where it needs to go. Not in any particular hurry. Happy to have the ball and control and everything about this as best they can. That one's going to get away and carry in the wind.
They are finding out what West Virginia and Old Dominion did in the first match. That wind is no joke, especially when you get the ball more than about 8 to 10 feet off the ground.
Yeah, and it's really not anywhere near as strong as it was in that first match, but it's still very much a factor in this one.
And you're seeing the ball bend and hook in that wind once it gets up a little bit. Part of that feeling out period of this match, the players finding out for themselves exactly what they can and can't do. Space on the right edge for Georgia State. Hideo Gondo trying to go into the middle. It's broken up. Gondo, I think, has my favorite hair of the entire match. That's got some good flounce to it. Pretty easy to tell which one he is. Now he's going to tie it up just as I say that.
There you go.
I like the word flounce.
Yeah.
I think I could work that one in today.
There you go. You've hit somewhere someone's got a bingo card that you're able to take a square.
Got that one.
There you go.
If you're Georgia State here, you just have to keep your patience
Yeah.
longer than Marshall keeps theirs. DeMarco comes out to sweep it left. Looking for DeFabora. Brought down off the toe of Ipinto. Thought about driving forward. Pulls it back. Shoved to the left edge. A run out there from Carl Romberg. The cross off the head, and it's 1-0 Marshall. They get the goal from the left corner, and coming in from the edge, Takahiro Fujita sends one to the back of the net.
Really nice work here on the edge of the box. Gets that all the way down to the end line. It wasn't the first ball, it was the second one. There's a header in the middle of the field there, right from the spot. It looks like it's gonna actually closer to the 6.
He used every bit of space that he had. Fujita goes top shelf where Mama hides the cookies.
There'll be 2 assists on that one, I'm sure. Stevenato was in the midst there as well.
It's cold and wet, but that has to feel good.
Fujita with his 3rd goal of the season again has an impact. You know, you watch Marshall play, you know how good he is. It's not always.
We're reviewing offsides here.
Okay, let's take a look here. This one goes all the way to the end line and then back to the 6. So that's what you're going to see here on this second. I think 5's going to keep him on. Yeah, it's going to be a good goal here.
So the Thundering Herd strike first, and that's the guy that puts Marshall out in front 1-0. Takahiro Fujita from Naro, Japan.
In reviewing that sequence, it looked like it was Gonzalez keeping Fujita onside for that one.
3rd of the season from Fujita in the 17th minute.
What's interesting about that sequence, too, is Marshall almost was trying to bait Georgia State into putting some pressure, right? So a couple of back passes, and Georgia State felt like, okay, maybe a chance to win the ball. And then that opened up some space in that buildup, creating some room for Marshall to operate. Oh, there's a giveaway and a goal.
And just like that, an equalizer for Georgia State, and it comes courtesy Gavin Williams.
So just as I was saying that Marshall was almost baiting Georgia State into it, Georgia State then forces the mistake and puts it away for the equalizer.
Gavin Williams and a coming Georgia. Marshall was coming, he was going.
Yeah, Ryan Holmes, the hometown boy, with the air there. He saw his hands go right to his head. That's a tough one to take. And again, you know, this is a little bit the way the Marshall plays. It worked on the last sequence because they again tried to draw Georgia State on that pressure, and then that opened up space. That time tried to employ the same philosophy. Unfortunately for the Herd, an error leads to the equalizer here. Now, this is we said before that the rain wasn't quite as and wind wasn't quite as difficult as it was in the first match.
Picked up now.
Yeah, it's picked up. It's picked up. We have some more paper litter out on the field as we saw in the first match.
The goal from Williams in the 18th minute. We are deadlocked at 1 here in Morgantown. Has to be deflating for Marshall. They felt like they worked really hard to take the tempo of this game, control the pace of the game, just for Georgia State to get one a minute later.
Yeah, and you know, you think about being earned, you know, and Marshall's had possession, worked the ball up the field, and then to just to kind of give one away about 6 yards from your goal and have it turn around to you. That's a little bit tough to take, but that's sometimes the nature of this match. And how about for Gavin Williams, first time to get on the score sheet this season? What a time he's picked.
Kind of like a defensive back in American football, jumping the route. That's exactly what he did. He timed the play and was able to take advantage.
Yeah, and if you watch Marshall, it's not unusual to see those center backs stand on the ball, sit on it, kind of just look and survey and be patient. And it almost says, okay, when are you going to come and try to put a little bit of pressure on me? And those guys are so good that they handle that, 98.7% of the time. That's an official statistic. And, unfortunately there for Ryan Holmes, it ends up that error leads right to a goal.
Deflected away. Marshall hangs on. Knocked loose by Avel Romero Garmendia. Georgia State's bench has been the more active of the two. You heard just now from head coach Brett Surensey below us. Georgia State looking to take a 2-1 lead. Brought down by Rabi Veroni. Marshall back the other way. Stavanto. Taken away by the captain, Tom Philodeau. Booted high, and with a wind at the back of this one, it had shifted. A good throaty kick there. DeMarco into the wind. Opportunity maybe for Marshall? No.
Heard Pinto. Contact. It's going to be injury there. It's actually Alvarez. That was a tantalizing ball, wasn't it there?
And again, if you're Georgia State, you've had success on one of those already.
With the weather the way that it is, wet ball, wet pitch, wind blowing, sometimes this can be a game of minimizing your errors or capitalizing on any errors that occur.
Sportsmanship there from Alvarez to Gavin Williams. And you hear a lot of coaches say that in a playoff matchup, well, it's going to come down to the team that makes the fewest mistakes. Now it's, again, a well-worn cliche for a reason. And on a wet, sloppy night, things are less than optimal. Takeaway here for Georgia State. Gavin Williams slides one to the edge. Tom Williams with a run to the corner. Tom Williams, it's deflected behind the end line.
Lead to a corner kick here for Georgia State, and I think the Panthers did a nice job of, once winning that ball, being really astute to switch the attack, try to create more space, don't allow Marshall to recover. And Georgia State's going to have an opportunity on a set piece. Set piece is so crucial here in the postseason.
Is this where Georgia State has to be precise? This is Virgil Dalinol.
Well, every team wants to say that you want to execute on these set opportunities. When you come into this and you think you're maybe not going to have as much possession as the other team, you definitely want to try and take advantage.
Dalinol tried to bend that one with the help of the wind. It's headed toward goal and gobbled in by Eddie DeMarco. Marshall will try to be patient again.
Yeah, lots of space now.
Now there's not, you can afford not to be patient because you got some time and some space here. Slid to the left edge. Here's D. Lavabora on goal, punched away. Marshall covers. And a good blast on goal over the goal. And that was Pinto with his first really good shot of the evening.
Yeah, and again, I think this starts in the back, and Georgia State trying to apply some pressure. You see that ball deflected, and really no choice for Georgia State. You're going to have to concede the corner here. But once Georgia State tried to put pressure, didn't win the ball, there was all sorts of space for Marshall in the midfield to operate and create an opportunity.
Carl Romberg will try this corner. Low and swept away. The wind at his back, and that one came in hot.
I think he would like to have done better on that one.
A throw from Ryan Holmes at Cabell Midland High School in Ona, West Virginia. Chipped on goal in the box, punched away. And Marshall cover. It's a blast from Pinto wide left.
It's a good job by Pinto to keep that ball on the ground as it makes its way through traffic.
Yeah, let's go, stick it overall. Middle first, middle first.
We've seen this in both matches today. These keepers have done an excellent job of knowing when to step up and make a catch and when to step up and punch it away.
Yeah, I think, it's like the old saying, whatever, if you think you're right. Or,
whether or not you think you're wrong or you're right,
yeah,
you are.
Yeah, right. So you got to go be decisive. And I think, so making a decision is the best thing. Indecision is what's going to hurt you. So being decisive in those moments where you're going to try and punch, catch, make a decision is always the best option.
It's also good advice for powder puff football. Punch, catch, whatever you
There you go.
Whatever you're going to do. Marshall strikes first from Takahiro Fujita. Gavin Williams takes one away and pops it in for Georgia State to equalize it a minute later. We've not seen the physicality and the intensity that we saw in the first quarterfinal today, and I would expect that to pick up maybe if the pace and the tempo picks up.
Yeah, and as the time winds down, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think as again, these matches have that sense of finality. They do have finality, not just a sense of it, finality to them. That you're going to see some players and teams, be a little bit desperate to get a result. Still early on in this one, midway through this first half.
Played to the middle. Good run. High Pinto. Trailer on the left edge. David De La Vibora on goal. Wow, that snuck past everybody and just went wide right. Lone Marine did not have a good look at this one.
Yeah, the deflection is what causes all the problems. I think that's right off of
that hit
Theodo,
Tom
right?
Theodo. And I think it was a case of literally missing the forest for the trees.
Yeah.
A lot of traffic in front of goal. Georgia State maybe a bit fortunate. A corner coming here. Sent on goal. And they argue over who touches last.
Be another corner here for Marshall. Some contact there in the middle.
Georgia State was pretty adamant that it wasn't, but I think it hit of the two guys involved. Alvaro Alvarez, the Spaniard, belt this one again. Headed on goal. Marshall can't turn it around. Pakimov was right there in the middle. That ball went nowhere into a stiff wind. Well played off the foot of Carl Romberg. He's got some run. Romberg on goal. Shoved left. Swept away by Marin.
Yeah, I think, Marine's going to want to think about this because you either have it covered or you make the save, and he just isn't able to control it, as that was not going to be on frame. So if you know that, you're just going to let it go and get a goal kick, but instead you touch it, and now it's going to be a corner here for Marshall. Thundering Herd going to try to take advantage.
What will they do? Have they seen enough with this wind? Marshall's got a player downed inside the 18. We saw the teams in the first match today with the wind blowing about as much as it is now. We saw them make adjustments to what they were doing corner kick wise. We didn't see as many balls flung into the box. We saw teams go short, try to take advantage of the opportunity that way. Romberg headed high and over the crossbar. Couple corners in quick succession for Marshall. The Herd not able to do anything with him. Out shooting Georgia State 3-0. '27th minute between UCF and Georgia Southern. They remain scoreless. Keeping an eye on the other quarterfinal for you. 2 quarterfinals down, 2 underway. Again, both of the earlier ones involving the top 2 seeds in the conference, they were decided in penalties. Marshall heads this the other direction. Georgia State able to keep it in off the chest of Sandro or Baravoni. Push through, misplayed, and Marshall takes this away. A good job by Samir Jihad to get back on the ball. Jihad, the leading goal scorer of this Georgia State team, 6 goals this year. The number 6 seed in this Sun Belt Conference tournament. Tied at 1 with just inside 15 to play in the first half from Morgantown. West Virginia University awaits the winner in a semifinal on Wednesday evening. There are probably a lot of soccer fans that would like to see it be Marshall. Mountaineers might like another crack at the Thundering Herd and vice versa. Georgia State looking to spoil that. David De La Bora with some run. Gets it back from Pinto. Broken up. Pack him off. Can't get that one into the box. The wind threw the timing off of that one just a little bit. Georgia State wants to definitely play the role of Garth Brooks here and ruin this black tie affair. Friends in low places, huh?
There you go. It's just so interesting to watch Marshall, with this build-up from the back. Patient. When can they find that ball that will, break the line, but they're going to keep the ball. And again, they just kind of grab the space.
Georgia State grabs it right back here, coming back the other way. Baravoni fighting for it. Hideto Gondo not able to hang on. It really requires selflessness, the way they play. Speaking of Marshall, it requires everybody being on the same page and teaching and reteaching what is an opportunity we want to take and what is not an opportunity we want to take if you're head coach Chris Grassi.
Yeah, and again, you're talking about a program that just does not, lose often, and they get better throughout the year, and it's those two things don't always go together, right? Because you hear coaches talk about maybe being exposed early and learning in losses. And Marshall's able to learn in its victories and get better as the season goes on. That's one of the reasons that they're just so difficult to beat in the postseason. It's a team that improves from August until November and oftentimes into December.
It takes buy-in to a system, buy-in to a style. But you know what helps increase buy-in is winning.
And a lot of talent all over the field as well.
Talent guys that see the big picture. David De La Vibora. Here's Pinto. Wasn't there for Fujita. Pakimov, they slide one in. Deflected away from Romberg.
You see Georgia State being, picking their spots in terms of pressing. A couple of times the pressure has not worked, and it's allowed Marshall to have some space to operate.
Definitely does seem to be a bit of a tactical change from Georgia State in the last 10 minutes of the match or so. Forcing that aggression. Is it bad if they lose the patience now? Or do they need to try and force it and take a couple shots here or there?
No, I think if you're trying to get a result, and so you just need to. Maybe it's not about patience; it's about picking the right spot, and maybe there's an element of patience involved in that. But you're going to have to put some pressure on it, on Marshall, to try and make something happen. And in those moments, though, you have to be aware of what's happening perhaps behind you. And see, there's another ball. That's a great ball that breaks the line. And here Marshall is off to the races.
A lot of room to run. Blasted to the left side. De La Vibora brings it down. Swept away. Defended well by Hideto Gondo.
Lead to another corner kick here for Marshall.
I think you'll give up the corner in this instance rather than let somebody beat you to the edge like that.
Yeah.
Corners are a tricky proposition on a night like this. Run up for Romberg. Again, that had a wind behind it, and that thing got in the box in a hurry. Pinto hit that one. It stayed low.
Georgia State going to try and get something in transition here.
Here's Gondo. And a throw in coming. Substitutes coming as well for Georgia State. David Blanton, Matthew Taylor, and Nolan Williams come on, replacing Sandro Ribivaroni, Gavin Williams, and Samir Jeha.
Yeah, and Taylor's a guy that can stretch the field as well, a lot like Jeha. He comes off the bench, but he definitely has an impact. So he's one of those guys that it's not necessarily about quality. It's about, that spark, change of pace.
Trying to steal him an extra 10 minutes here maybe and put somebody fresh in. Slide tackle went a long way on a wet track for Marshall's Gabriel Stevanato.
Taylor has 5 goals on the year, so certainly the
no
production
slouch
is there. Yeah, the production is there.
Pinto with room. Trying to get that one in from Alvarez. Marshall trying to catch Georgia State, maybe with the new personnel just settling in. Try again from the left side. I'll bring it back out for Alvarez. The 38th minute. In transition, Romberg to spin this around. Booted forward. And a big time tug on the jersey for Joao Alves.
It's going to be a pretty easy card to call there. I think he was in for a dime, in for a dollar here. You probably had the foul there, and then you just hold on, stretch that 3 and the 2. Get your money's worth, huh?
Brought to you by Lycra.
There you go.
See how stretchy that fabric is. So Marshall will take their goal scorer out and try to get him a little bit of an extra break. Takahiro Fujita leaves as well, as does David De La Vabora. So some fresh personnel on both sides. The final 10 minutes. Joao Roberto, one of those fresh bodies on for Marshall.
That'll be whistled for a foul here on the restart.
Alva slides at the left edge. Theo Goddard in for the first time. On a cool night in Morgantown, wind blowing, rain has come intermittently. Deadlocked at 1 late in the first half. Chance for the Thundering Herd. Good ball from Romberg to the left corner. Across, it's off the chest of the defender. Swept away by Manogo Kwangu.
Took some courage to chest that one down, as you could get close to an arm for a handball. So well done on that effort.
And it can deflect a number of different directions too. That close to your goal, not all of them good.
In this first matchup, remember this one, we were level at zeros, and then Georgia State had taken a lead, and then it was Marshall with an equalizer before half. So a lot of action perhaps in this one.
The left corner, a run from Goddard. Romberg taken off the ball. Very crucial final 5 minutes of this first.
Again, that is a nice ball on the ground there to create some space and advance forward. That's the one that Marshall likes to look for and get things going forward.
On the right edge, the Frenchman, Max Manicky, to the corner. Booted to the box. And again, it's the Frenchman to make this 2-1 Marshall. Check that, Joao Roberto.
A good sequence here from Marshall. You thought that ball was maybe going to be dummied, go to that near post. I think that caught Georgia State perhaps a little bit off guard. And Roberto, with his 4th goal of the year, now matches the team high. And a good strike and a good finish. And the Thundering Herd are loving it there in the celebration. And I watched a little bit of that sequence, and I'm telling you, no one was happier there than Ryan Holmes. After, you know, that error led to an equalizer. And Roberto now puts Marshall back on top. And we talked about that last sequence, the sequence before half in the first matchup. Perhaps is this repeating itself again?
Now Stevanto grabs at the lower back. How huge of a lift is this for Marshall when you take your goal scorer off the pitch late in the first half, as we see a replay of the injury? You take your leading goal scorer off the pitch late in the first half to get him a few extra minutes of a halftime break, and then you pop one in just before that halftime break.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. It's always the sentiment in the game is you want to get one, carry that momentum into halftime. And you talk about a Marshall team and a program, the reserves that come in are outstanding players. And again, we talk about a guy coming off the bench who now is tied for the team lead in goals. So it's not a drop off. It's just a matter of managing minutes and talents. That's the challenge of the college game. You're going to need a lot of bodies. You're not going to get through, a season with just 11 or 12. Marshall has proven that this year, all of the injuries that they've had to navigate and negotiate as this season has gone on. So depth is a necessary component to being competitive at this level. And you're seeing that on display.
Intensity has picked up a lot, as is the pace here in the final few minutes of this half. Another run, booted on goal, knocked down. Stevanto got a lot into that one. The yellow card issued here. Tom Philodeau down, shaken up after some contact with Gabriel Stevanto.
And again, see the sportsmanship there. I think Stevanado concedes that was
a little over the line, maybe.
Yeah, that's right.
Stevanado had a chance to score a moment ago. Maybe some frustration back in transition. A little over 2 minutes to play in this first half.
And again, Marshall playing on top of this match. They are not in a huge hurry, but so they will be ready to pick their spots.
Brought down by Marshall. Room to run here for the Thundering Herd. Alvarez swept away. And become on the final minute of the first half. Alves. Backside pursuit. They play conservatively. They can up a goal. Joel Roberto's goal late in this first half. That's the Herd out in front 2-1 in this quarterfinal. Marshall wanted the clock stopped because of the nature of the injury to the head of Carl Romberg. Landed awkwardly on that shoulder too. Theo Goddard plays this one forward. And a collision between Tom Philodeau. And again, that's Stevanado. Final 10 seconds. Marshall get across. Maybe an opportunity here. saved it or deflected away on a blast from Kirill Pakimov.
Boy, Marshall just doesn't let you breathe. You thought that half was going to maybe end innocently, but the Thundering Herd put pressure on and creating a half chance there towards to finish the first half.
And Marshall head coach Chris Grassi going to join us here. Late goal in that first half. How does that change the complexion of your locker room conversation?
No, I mean, nothing would have really changed. I think we just got to keep our heads. It was obviously a silly mistake. We played out too quickly, and then obviously it's a non-characteristic, so to give the ball away, we kind of eliminated a lot of that stuff from our game. So it's not really something we're going to worry about. You know, the goals, we're doing what we want. It's there. We would have just made the same tactical tweaks anyway.
You're controlling the pace of this match. Do you like that and having that control, and how are you going to continue to do that? What adjustments do you expect from Georgia State to maybe affect that a little bit?
Well, first, hi, Adam. How are you doing?
Good, Chris. How are you?
I'm good, man. Long time no see.
Yeah.
No, I just think they're going to come out. They have to compress us a little bit more, and you saw they kind of did after they scored, and then they went right down and scored. So I think that'll probably be the tactical adjustment that they'll make again, and just put a bit more pressure on, and we have to just be really calm and really precise what we're doing, or we have to just play in behind. If they're going to put so much pressure on, we have to take advantage of the space they give us behind.
Well, not the pleasantries are out of the way. Thank you so much for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
And good luck.
See you guys.
At the half, Marshall has a 2-1 lead in this Sun Belt Conference quarterfinal. And a late goal in the half. The Thundering Herd out in front of Georgia State from Morgantown.
If you have to ask why it's important to start your day early, here's your answer.
Save on breakfast and enjoy a sausage McMuffin with egg. Get 2 for just $5.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Unlock more sports for one unbeatable price. Get unrivaled coverage all year long. Introducing the new ESPN Box One Bundle.
Hey, welcome back to what should be a thrilling second half.
Plan your commute around this dreary Monday morning.
Absolutely electric tonight.
Wait! Wait, wait, wait! Go, go, go! Yeah!
Hockey is here. The breakaways, here. The beards, here. The deets, the backhands, the Ovi goals, all here. Comebacks are here. Bucci is here. Barn burners, thousands of them. Trade alerting, here. The fans, here. The Stanley Cup, yeah, you guessed it. It's here on ESPN.
Formula One is not following the script.
Formula One all season long on ABC, ESPN, and streaming on the all-new ESPN app.
Hockey is here. The breakaways, here. The Ovi goals, here. The Stanley Cup, yeah, you guessed it. It's here on ESPN.
Formula One is not following the script.
It's lights out and away we go. Formula One all season long on ABC, ESPN, and streaming on the all-new ESPN app.
Sun Belt Conference quarterfinal. Happy to have you with us on this Sunday evening. Adam Zundel, I'm Eric Little. And again, a pretty good first half. Marshall played this half at their pace.
Yeah, and Marshall was on top of this one. Again, we heard Coach Grassi say it was a mistake that cost them a goal, but we're able to make up for that and have that 2-1 lead. Still some work ahead, but certainly in control. Have to feel pretty good about this. If you're Georgia State, you had some opportunities. There could be some opportunities to press, get that ball in the turnover, and finish those chances if you get it.
The winner takes on West Virginia on Wednesday, and they advanced after being pushed to the limit by Old Dominion in this first quarterfinal of the day here in Morgantown. What a kick. What a goal.
Yeah, Lewis
to
worked
tie
with
that
a
up.
terrific go-ahead goal. And then here is Pablo Pothos off the set piece late in that match, puts it away. Go to PKs. Isaac Shear puts it away for West Virginia, but Mark Bonaire has to come up with that save. He does. And West Virginia advances in PKs and celebrates with those fans.
You can take that victorious leap when you make the big save. Mark Bonaire not the only keeper to make a big save. How about Sebastian Conlon's stop? Georgia defeated Coastal Carolina in PKs, and Conlon with the final denial to put the #1 Kentucky Wildcats on top. They were pushed to the brink as well.
Yeah, Sunbelt goalkeeper of the year, Sebastian Conlon, coming up big, making that save. So the top 2 seeds advance just barely. We knew this bracket was going to be exciting. Those first 2 quarterfinal matches provided that.
More to come from Morgantown. 2-1 Marshall to half on ESPN.
If you have to ask why it's important to start your day early, here's your answer.
Save on breakfast and enjoy a sausage McMuffin with egg. Get 2 for just $5.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Thank you for calling the Bombas Comfort Line. Bombas makes slippers, slides, and comfy shoes. And with every purchase, 1 is donated. Press 1 for comfort, 2 for cozy, 3 for great gifts. Bombas. Visit bombas.com and get 20% off your first order.
Businesses are the backbone of our communities. And Bank of America is the world's best bank for small and medium-sized enterprises. With over 3,700 dedicated business specialists across the nation, we're on your corner and in your corner. Because when businesses prosper, communities thrive. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Contact one of our local business specialists at bankofamerica.com/local business.
The NBA on ESPN is happening now, and we don't know who's going to catch fire or who will shock the world. We don't know which bucket will break hearts. What'll go down in the rumor mill or inside the NBA. We don't know who's turning up courtside or when we'll hear it. But we do know that for opening week, Christmas, finals, and everywhere in between, there's one place to call home. Stop playing with me.
Formula One is not following the script.
Formula One all season long on ABC, ESPN, and streaming on the all-new ESPN app.
Unlock more sports for one unbeatable price. Get unrivaled coverage all year long. Introducing the new ESPN Fox One bundle.
Tension is there, you can feel it's the playoffs.
What a strike! I want a Sunday kind of love. The NWSL playoffs Sunday on ABC.
The conference tournament means the NCAA tournament right around the corner, and all of these teams, Adam, seeking to tweak those resumes.
Yeah, and again, it's important to remember that there's only 48 teams that get into the NCAA tournament. Almost half of those are automatic bids. Let's take a look at West Virginia's resume, 12-3-2 on the year. Obviously a good one-loss record, a good result against Marshall. 2 draws against High Point and Akron. Best road result is that draw at Akron. That Georgia State loss hurts a little bit. West Virginia trying to get in the mix to host in that first round, get one of those top 16 seeds. That eluded them last year.
And speaking of those Thundering Herd, they're all bundled up here. Their fans are bundled up here and finding whatever cover they can, but they got a good case as well.
Yeah, the Marshall Thundering Herd, the defending runner-up. No bad losses for the Thundering Herd this year, but no quad one wins. Best result was that 4-1 win over league champion Kentucky. They are trending in the right direction, 6-1-1 in its last 8, but 1-2-4 on the road. So when you're looking at some resumes, going to try to get a key result on the road.
figuring out that poncho and figuring out their way to the NCAA tournament. Kentucky, we saw them escape a moment ago. They move on to the semifinals, and they may need to win the league.
Yeah, they absolutely might need to. Really good through August and September. No real bad losses for Kentucky. Had an opportunity to get a really signature win over Indiana. They were one up in that match, but they ended up losing. Strength of schedule hurts Kentucky a little bit. 83rd in the country in strength of schedule.
And Georgia Southern underway right now with UCF. Here's their overall resume.
Yeah, it's important to note that they are 7-2 on the road. That is really important. Also, though, a strength of schedule of 127. That's going to hurt a little bit. Have some work to do against UCF to avenge a loss earlier this season.
They lead UCF 1-0 underway. That one's at the half. So is this one. Marshall leads Georgia State 2-1 in Morgantown.
If you have to ask why it's important to start your day early, here's your answer.
Save on breakfast and enjoy a sausage McMuffin with egg. Get 2 for just $5.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
The NBA on ESPN is happening now, and we don't know who's going to catch fire or who will shock the world. We don't know which bucket will break hearts. What'll go down in the rumor mill or inside the NBA. We don't know who's turning up courtside or when we'll hear it. But we do know that for opening week, Christmas, finals, and everywhere in between, there's one place to call home. Stop playing with me. The NBA on ESPN is happening now. We don't know who's going to catch fire or who will shock the world. But we do know that for opening week, Christmas, finals, and everywhere in between, there's one place to call home. Stop playing with me.
Formula One is not following the script.
Formula One all season long on ABC, ESPN, and streaming on the all-new ESPN app.
Hockey is here. The breakaways, here. The Ovi goals, here. The Stanley Cup, yeah, you guessed it. It's here on ESPN.
Introducing Verts. Swipe for news and highlights. Now available on the ESPN app.
Welcome to the greatest show on earth. Oh, yes, sir!
The ball is already rolling now for this new season.
Unlock more sports for one unbeatable price. Get unrivaled coverage all year long. Introducing the new ESPN Box One bundle.
Welcome back to what should be a thrilling second half.
Sun Belt Coach of the Year, Brett Surrency of Georgia State. What was your message in the locker room to the boys?
Yeah, no, I thought we did some good things. We got to be a little more composed on the ball. When we're transitioning from defense to attack, they obviously are all out pressing. So, for us, just being a little bit calmer on the ball at times, just do dribble or 1-2 passes to alleviate some of that pressure so that we can have longer spells of the ball.
Coach Marshall does such a good job of trying to control the pace and holding that. When do you go from being patient to being a little bit more aggressive and trying to get some pressure and win that ball?
Yeah, I think it's all about the triggers. I mean, they've obviously set up a little bit differently than they did initially when we played them with almost 3 6s. So just being a little bit more organized and tight between our lines, both vertically and horizontally, and then just picking the moments to when we've got good numbers in and around it to get the distances right to step and press.
Coach, thank you for your time. Good luck in the second half.
Thanks, guys.
Take a look at some of the highlights from the first half. Marshall was able to strike first.
Yeah, good work on the edge of the box here. Almost goes over that end line. Terrific finish off the head of Stevanato first, and then to that far post to Fujita to put it away. Gave the Thundering Herd the 1-0 lead, and then this is just not a great giveaway. Ryan Holmes gives it away. And Gavin Williams buries it for Georgia State.
Right away, Eddie DeMarco did a good job to get in there to Holmes and try to pick up his guy.
Yeah, it's all about trying to the next play, right? But this is it happened in the first matchup. Momentum changer towards the end of the first half.
And it came from that guy, Joao Roberto. So Marshall dominating the offensive performance in the first half. We kind of expected that based on their pace of play. What surprises you? What maybe did you expect?
Well, I mean, this looks like a Marshall performance, controlling possession, controlling shots, building corners. You look at that huge advantage in corners. That looks like a Marshall performance that fans are used to seeing. And again, the only blemish was the one mistake. Georgia State did well enough to punish Marshall for it. But really, that was the only offensive opportunity. Georgia State needs to figure out a way to stretch Marshall a little bit. And then if it can put some pressure on that back line, maybe force another mistake.
Gondo out of the right corner. Comes inside. There's Virgil Dallenall. Hauled in by Eddie DeMarco. What decides this here the next 45?
Well, I think, again, if Marshall can continue to possess the ball, that's going to be really difficult for Georgia State to find their way into it. If Georgia State can maybe apply some pressure in the right moments, win the ball back, they have some athletes, they have some players who can put the ball away. Can they find those moments to press or find a transition moment? Maybe Marshall is a little bit high with its possession, gets a little aggressive, almost another giveaway there. I mean, I think sometimes if you're a Marshall fan, you live on the edge there with holding your breath, because Marshall will do that and complete those passes, but you just kind of takes your breath away in those moments.
Roberto chips it left corner. An attack from Marshall. And Marshall offsides. Brought down by Georgia State. Marshall able to take that away. Alvarez weighing his options. Comes the middle. Chip deep. Hurd come the other direction. To the corner for Mackey. Brought to the middle. Akimov looking for options. Shoved left edge. We saw this early in the first half for Marshall. The Thundering Herd willing to possess. Now a bit of a run. Out of the corner by Kiviano Francis.
Georgia State now, though, able to get organized, put some numbers behind it as Marshall tries to find some space. It's just really difficult. Then in those moments, right there, can Georgia State find something in transition as Marshall has committed forward, even with that 2-1 lead? Still a long way to go, so it's not any surprise that they would be trying to add a third. And, of course, the Thundering Herd would love a fourth.
Yeah.
But you got to get to 3 first. But, you know, as Marshall has those numbers forward, can you win a ball turnover and then send it the other way, get something in transition?
See if Georgia State does that here. Joel Gonzalez. Again, half of this Georgia State roster from the Peach State.
The roster also features a few Atlanta United Academy products up and down the lineups. That's a good pipeline to have as well.
When you've got that MLS pipeline in your backyard.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
Of course, you're recruiting folks to Metro Atlanta. A lot to offer.
Mm-hmm. It's a nice place to be.
Shoved up the left edge, Gonzalez. Williams. Gonzalez again. Marshall takes that one away. Georgia State wanted the foul. Pavel Romero Garmendia taken down. They don't get the call. Opportunities have certainly favored Marshall. Georgia State does not have a corner. Marshall out shooting the Panthers 5-2. Looking to turn things the other direction. Matthew Taylor locked up with a Marshall player, but there's a whistle as contact behind the play. Dallinall is down.
So the foul's going to be well behind where the ball last was. The foul's going to be whistled there, and there was contact further up the field. He thought there might have been a foul at that spot, but it's not.
I believe both sides want to bring subs on, and for different reasons.
Yeah, so the issue was an injured Marshall player was having the discussion with the referee, and the Marshall coaching staff was urging him to call for the trainer.
Yeah, Max Manicky.
He was just kind of standing there saying, "I'm almost like, hey, I'm
say
injured."
if you go down, you can get treatment."
Yeah, and a referee was like, "You need to have a seat."
Well, here are the guys who've been getting it done for the Thundering Herd all season long. While we have a moment for a drink, for a break.
Yeah.
We talked about Pinto, but the assists, how about this? Yasha Scherer. He is a sharer. 5 assists, leads the way.
Really good on corner kicks, set pieces, and delivering those. And you see Hai Pinto joined now by Roberto with the 4th goal of the year. And again, it's Marshall. It's all collective.
Mm-hmm.
It's a collective effort year in, year out. That's what the program does.
Eddie DeMarco stepping in. You said with the injury to Rose, you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, some changes in the keeper spot there due to injury. That's been a spot over the last couple of years. Used some different players in that spot last year. It was more of not an injury situation, but just kind of a by feel. Talking to Coach Grassi about that last year on who's going to get the spot, who's going to get the start. It was more about training and how players play. This year, it's a little bit more necessitated by injury. DeMarco has done well, though. And just like, every keeper does well when the team in front of it performs at its best. And so it's sometimes not always about the keeper. It's about what's in front of him. Those clean sheets are collective clean sheets that Marshall has earned. And then when you need to have a goalkeeper step up, they need to be able to make that big save.
Good run at Marshall for that guy, Chris Grassi. Always big statewide when any West Virginia-based school wins a national championship in something. This is a state that's fiercely proud of anybody who wears this name and does anything big on a national stage. And Chris Grassi certainly put himself on the map statewide.
Yeah, and again, got started at the University of Charleston. There you saw a couple of national championship appearances there before taking the post at Marshall, and then just a magical run a couple of years ago to that national championship. An unbelievable moment, and then, put together another great run last year all the way to the final before losing to Vermont.
Again, the run, the attention and the respect of people around the state and around the soccer world. Georgia State looking to equalize, back underway.
Yeah, talk about a program that's been ranked in the top 25 for over 2,000 days. That's a lot of respect from the entire country.
Gonzalez tried to cross that into the box. Hideto Gondo not able to link it up. And there's what Adam was alluding to a moment ago. Thundering Herd gave everybody a bit of a bright spot around COVID.
Yeah, that was the spring COVID year championship.
And then a runner-up finish last year. You win one, that gets people's attention. You compete for a second, I think that plants your flag pretty firmly.
Yeah, again, it makes Marshall they're just so difficult to go and beat. You have to go and execute at a high level. But certainly one of the top programs in the country. And Marshall has secured Coach Grassi for a while there with the contract extension a couple of years ago. You mentioned the pride brought to the state. Certainly, Coach Dan Stratford at West Virginia has done the same as the Mountaineers made an appearance in the College Cup.
Got by on penalty kicks with a little help from folks who had just emptied out of the W basketball game at Hope Coliseum.
We could be headed for a...
Had a friend of mine text me after the match that he was one of those that stuck around and drifted this way.
Now, did he stay through the rain too? Because I feel like when the element kicked up a little bit,
that might have chased a few people.
Yeah, it might have.
I don't know.
Changed some minds. Because to be fair, you're going for a basketball game, you're not dressed for a soccer game. So when the weather turned up a little bit,
right, you're fumbling for ponchos as well, and whatever you can turn into one.
Yeah.
Georgia State with another opportunity on offense. Chucked into the corner. Matthew Taylor brings it out. Played along. Left flank. Here's Joel Gonzalez. Gavin Williams hauled down. A little too long for Louis Salkeld. If you're Marshall, you're worried. Georgia State's had so many of these opportunities like this in the last 5 minutes or so.
Well, the only thing that would worry me if I'm a Marshall fan is potentially fouling and leading to a set opportunity. Again, I think the Thundering Herd are doing a nice job defensively, staying organized, but there you go. Well, the foul's actually going to be whistled on Georgia State. In those situations, not fouling and leading and giving Georgia State an opportunity to get a set piece. Marshall with the win at their back here. See how far DeMarco plans to send this one.
Brought down. Pinto goes right side. Roberto gets it back. Fujita.
Here comes Georgia State trying to put on a little bit of pressure here.
Bringing the energy and bringing a little bit of a press. Official has a talking to with Pavel Romero Garmendia. Georgia State whistled for the foul as Joel Gonzalez
and Roberto,
clutching and then the shove.
Roberto does a nice job of drawing that foul as well. We saw that in the first match between West Virginia and Old Dominion. It takes a little bit of an ability to draw that foul and get yourself in the right position. It's not all just manufacturing. It's putting yourself in the right position.
Off the set piece from Holmes, shot is deflected away. Getting it back, turning and firing, and missing wide of everything. Kiviano Francis had a couple good looks at the goal there.
It must have been a deflection, though. It looks like Marshall's going to be setting up for a corner kick. I'm going to take another look at this and see. Yeah, that a little more.
And the second effort for Francis. Alvarez to take the corner. Roberto deflected away.
We talked about the triggers that Coach Cersei talked about. That ball being played back in that situation is definitely a trigger. You saw the Panthers going after it, trying to get there. Wasn't able to do it, and then almost led to a a counter there as DeMarco popped that one back the other direction.
Georgia State trying to mount an attack to earn the equalizer. Matthew Taylor shoves it away. In the middle, here's Nolan Williams. Knocked off the ball. Marshall back in transition. Well defended by Monongo Kwangu.
Looks like Monongo Kwangu's just played in his 4th match here this year, but that was a play with a lot of confidence.
Out of Montreal, Canada. Ball taken off the foot of Gondo. The Georgia State goal came in the 18th minute from Gavin Williams. He gets it here. Stepping inside. Broken up by Pinto. Nifty move by Roberto. Slows up the counter, and Marshall able to hold on.
That's a ball that Marshall wants to continue to hold on to. They're so good in possession. That's not one that they're usually going to give away. See Taylor on that ball, just surrounded by white shirts. It makes things really difficult. It feels like anytime Georgia State gets the ball and tries to go forward, there's multiple players there, making life difficult. But here's a foul against Marshall, and this set piece is going to be a little bit out of the comfort range, but going to try and get something off of it, waiting for a sub to come in as well.
Here comes the leading goal scorer, Samir Jahan. Not a bad place to insert him into the lineup as he replaces Nolan Williams. 30 minutes to play. You're down a goal. He's fresh. A halftime break plus an additional, let's say, 20 minutes. Run from the edge. Rabi Veroni misses everything.
Yeah, and Taylor and Jahan now combined there at the same time. See if they can get a little bit more offense going here in the final 30 minutes. Down a goal with the season on the brink. Georgia State 2-4-3 in Sun Belt play this year, getting that 6th seed. Had an impressive win at home against West Virginia.
To show the parity of this league, and this is a 3-6 matchup. I said it earlier, the 1 of the 2 seeds in this tournament pushed penalties. Georgia State trying to get some revenge after losing 3-1 to Marshall earlier this season. Squirts on goal, taken away by Lone Marine. That was not talked about in a while. Gondo sends this one to the middle. A lot of room on the left side. Gonzalez is there. Manogo Kwangu leaves things over to the right side. On Philadelphia. Chipped in. Matthew Taylor can't bring it down. They can't link up with their goal scorer on that touch either.
Comes a little bit of pressure here from Georgia State to try and win. If you could step in front of one, that would be great, I think, if you're Georgia State, but you also want to try and win that second one here as perhaps trying to unlock the pressure. Will the ball bounce around and can you get on it? This is really, really well done here from Marshall, though. That's really good. That's the pass that you want. Well done there by the Thundering Herd.
Here they come on the counterattack. Good chip right corner. A little long for Roberto. That diagonal pass, though, you were talking about that earlier. Beautiful form.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want out of that build-up. There's that patience there showing until something freed up, and you're able to connect that 30-yard pass with all kinds of space, freeing things up.
What kind of a headache does that provide for a team like Georgia State trying to defend that?
Yeah, I mean, it just makes for a long night. You have to, you know, they're tough to, Marshall's tough to dispossess in the first place. You're trying to get yourself in the right position, and you know everybody's working. You see Georgia State looking behind them because these forwards trying to put some pressure on. Is there somebody else behind that front line ready to pounce on the ball? And then all of a sudden it's three crisp passes connected, and Marshall springs forward.
So many sports you hear talk about stretching the field.
Mm-hmm.
Stretching a defense to its brink. Not able to connect on that pass, broken up by Hideto Gondo out of Fukuoka, Japan. Another run at this for Georgia State, looking to equalize their goal in the 18th minute from Gavin Williams. After Takahiro Fujita put Marshall on the board at 1-0. The difference in this one, Joao Roberto's goal late in the first half.
It's a good ball into the flank there, but nobody making that run to that far post.
Ever since they've reinserted Samir Jeha, they've not been able to get the ball into him inside the 18.
And this is really well done here along the line, freeing up that space to Taylor. And this is exactly what you're looking for, but there is just nobody else there. Perhaps an option in the box there.
Eddie DeMarco, a little slow to get up. At the end of regulation in West Virginia, Old Dominion, they brought out a pan. West Virginia did. They had some snacks and things like that for the players. I kind of wonder if that's what DeMarco's waiting for here.
Need some bananas. I would think that was on the tray there.
Here is him going down.
Continues to kind of feel that discomfort there. I've seen a lot of these here tonight in both matches. Just something lingering, flares up.
Again, it's a cold, windy night, so the wind making it feel a lot colder, and it's easy for muscles to tighten up when things feel like that.
We've seen it's been the goalkeepers in particular. You know, maybe there's a issue planting and trying to send these balls really, really far, you know, with the wind at the back.
Brett Surrency giving some instructions to his team Again, the winningest coach in Georgia State history. We talked to him coming out of the locker room at the half. 7 tournament championship game appearances for Brett Surensky at Georgia State. And 3 times in the NCAA tournament. A good run for him at Georgia State.
Yeah, when talking to him this week, kind of talked to him about, does coaching the tournament what's your approach? Is it any different? He said, we are what we are. You can make you can make some tweaks here and there, but, the biggest challenge, he said, was the physical and mental fatigue of the season. You have some travel to the Sun Belt. I think is fortunate to have in this day and age, a relatively compressed footprint. To a certain degree, but that definitely wears on you. And you're also dealing, coming in this one, players that are dealing with potentially their last game of their careers and managing the emotions of that. That's why the coaches get paid, right? To be able to manage and consider those things. But, from a tactical standpoint or anything like that, he was just saying, that this is who we are.
They talked about how half of this roster is from the state of Georgia. Get some international flair as well. 3 Frenchmen, 3 Canadians, 2 Englishmen, a Brazilian, 1 player from Japan, and 7 seniors who, like you said, are staring down their last collegiate match. All of those things will play a role in how the next 25 minutes play out. Marshall leading by a goal. Fully stretched out and ready to go. DeMarco sends that one deep. In for the box, looking for Theo Goddard. Couldn't connect. Jeha in pursuit.
Marshall looking for a switch here. Tough to manage in this wind.
Fujita was all by his lonesome and wanted that one for a long time. And you're right, the ball got up in the air. Once it did, that wind pushed it right up and away from Fujita.
Oh, that's a great ball into the center of the field. Oh, another through ball.
On the way in.
Flags up.
Offsides, Roberto's 2nd goal of the night washed out. And now he wants some treatment on a leg.
Get another look at it. Yeah, he is offside. That's they could go look at it. They'll end up with the same decision. Roberto trying to shake things off here.
He was really trying to get some treatment on the legs during the last stoppage. He came over to the sideline, had the shorts pulled up, working on those thighs and quads.
Ooh, it looks like we're going to have a card issued to the Marshall bench. It looks like that was an assistant issued to an assistant coach.
The official says enough is enough. Back underway.
And that's
body check puts Roberto on the ground.
It's really not to take anything away from that. Was a really good sequence there for Marshall. We kind of get lost. It almost led to a goal, but it was a good ball from Fujita that started the whole thing.
We've not seen Marshall on too many offensive attacks in this half. They've largely been conservative, trying to control tempo and pace with that 1-goal advantage.
Yeah, some nights it'll be peppering, the goalkeeper with shots from all over the place and building it that way. Tonight's been a little bit more deliberate. They certainly have their share of shots here this evening, but it's just not been that constant barrage, particularly here in the second half. It's just been holding the ball, possessing the ball, going forward and being dangerous, just not able to get a ton of shots on frame.
Georgia Southern has taken a 2-1 lead in the second half on UCF. Other quarterfinal happening concurrently, that one in Lexington, Kentucky. Winner there will take on the home team, the Wildcats.
Georgia Southern could use another quality win to try and boost its resume. Again, with just 48 teams, you don't have a lot of room for error, particularly with the ACC expanded and so many quality teams in that league. Going to probably eat up a lot of spots just like it did last year.
Options for Rabaravoni. Off the head of Gondo.
Marshall has his numbers behind the ball here and getting organized defensively.
Gonzalez goes to the edge, stepping back inside. Williams to the middle, cross on goal, headed away. Gondo couldn't get there. Header from Gonzalez sends it back. A lot of room for Williams. Chipped in. Off the deflection, Marshall takes it away. Georgia State able to chip that right back in. Nice header into the box. An opportunity swept away by Owls.
How about that touch from Taylor? Almost got things going.
Buttery smooth. Right here.
Yep, right off the top of the noggin. Deep throw coming here.
That was handled with the delicacy of a bunt in baseball, you know, just boop.
Yeah, just a little touch there. Here comes the deep throw.
With the wind at his back.
Foul's going to be called inside the box there. On the Panthers.
Looking for Fujita in the middle.
To see there where the foul was, nonetheless.
Pretty good day for Joao Roberto. It's his goal that has Marshall out in front. He takes a seat.
As it stands now, that would be the game winner. He does not have a game winner to his credit this year.
Alvarez, and it's Pinto back in. So Pinto on for the final 20 minutes. Rabaravoni in for Taylor. Broken up. Pinto slides this one up the left flank. Options for Marshall, stepping inside. Good run. Fujita. No one there for the cross. Alvarez. Can't hook up with Pinto.
Yes. Alvarez just kind of scuffed that one.
UCF, just as soon as we say Georgia Southern takes the lead, they pop in the equalizer.
There aren't many teams that have played as well down the stretch as UCF. Obviously, the 2-0 loss to Marshall notwithstanding, there's a host of teams that are playing well that would lose could lose 2-0 to Marshall. So
there are a lot of times, and coaches won't make excuses, but you know the conference tournament's looming. You know this is the regular season finale. Easy to see where UCF may have not been as focused as it otherwise might have been.
yeah, well, and then you had a Marshall team that was licking its wounds after the loss to West Virginia, so you had a sense that the Thundering Herd would come out ready for that one.
Not saying it was a buzzsaw, but it might have been a buzzsaw.
Yeah, and going back to the season and doing the broadcast for West Virginia, you always had that Marshall match in your mind, and I kept saying during during the season. You know, there's one more after that against South Carolina. You have to keep an eye on, and
win or lose, there's a letdown either way.
Yeah. Well, you have to be mindful of it, right?
Yeah.
You just have to know that there's more out there.
The air comes out of the balloon.
Yeah.
You have to defend against that.
Yeah, but right now trending with less than 20 minutes left to perhaps a rematch between the Thundering Herd and the Mountaineers. Georgia State going to try and have a say in that, though. And we saw late goals in our first quarterfinal here. So
both of those decided in penalties and deadlocked in Lexington again. Deep ball for Pinto, broken up.
Again, with just a 1-goal lead in this one for Marshall, you have to be really mindful. Again, talking about making mistakes, you just have to be really mindful and be really clean. No fouls in bad spots. You know, try not to allow any particular corners. Be mindful on any counterattacks when you're going. You know, if you're sending numbers forward, be mindful. That's really kind of the MO, I think, here in the final 20.
Marshall would love a third. Alvarez sends it in, headed away. Not able to capitalize there. They still keep it just outside the box. It's turned away by Lone Marine.
No, and he's just going to throw that one almost out of play. That was
the wind pushed that one to the sideline.
He's trying to play quickly. Almost led to a turnover. Not a bad idea there. Seeing Matthew Taylor trying to make that run, but again, Marshall up to the task, snuff it out.
Alvarez will take his time.
That's a nice ball too, switch of play.
Diagonal pass. Brought in by Theo Goddard. Another touch for Goddard. Backing up. Slides it in. Better ball to the corner, a little too long.
But this isn't the worst scenario here for Marshall. You can see the Herd press here, try to win this ball back. That's a nice ball there from Georgia State. Panthers trying to get something going here.
Pavel Romero Garmendia leaves it up for Gavin Williams. Turning inside, Williams slides it over. Edeto Gondo.
Look how many white shirts there are in the box. It just makes things so difficult to find space.
They pack it in, and Goddard got a chest on that one. Now a collision or whistle.
Yeah, and you know, this is kind of on the edge of that attacking third here. As you see the contact there, it's actually going to be a foul called on Marshall. It didn't quite look like it, but it goes that way. And again, this is in a dangerous spot. What's going against Georgia State right now is literally the wind is going against Georgia State. So
yeah,
deciding how to play this.
Louis Salkeld called on the foul. Chipped into the box, headed sky high. Taylor sends it in, still loose and gobbled up by Eddie DeMarco.
Really physical in there. You never know. You don't really want to be in there. You see the physical play there.
That one curled back in the wind a little bit. Slipped all the way to DeMarco.
Gonzalez really mixing it up there for Georgia State. Trying to sell out and get a goal. And if you get called for a foul, so be it. But you want to try and do whatever you can to get on the end of one of those.
Less than 15 to play in regulation. Intensity, I would imagine, will begin to pick up between Marshall and Georgia State. You're looking at the halftime score. Georgia State kept their best goal scorer. You saw him slide tackle there, Samir Jeha, with a team-leading 6 goals that kept him on the bench the first 15 minutes of this half. To make a substitution, Gavin Williams leaves, Tom Williams returns. Gavin is out of Cumming, Georgia. Tom is out of Cheshire, England. So, in case you're wondering if they were related. Cousin from another English mother.
There you go.
Georgia State tries to attack the 18. Marshall's defense has been stout this half. Now a breakaway. Marshall trying to get one in, and they do. Good ball, almost got through for Theo Goddard. Big collision with Taylor and Packamoff.
It's a good decision on that pass. Marshall was expecting it to go negative, then hit it square.
Time becoming of the essence. Here's Jeha. Good ball to the middle. Nobody there to follow it up. A little too short for Pavel Romero Garmendia.
Yeah, and Taylor was in there as well. It ended up being in between both of them. He stays down.
We got Pinto as a trailer. Off the post. Swept away.
You'd certainly think that would have done it here for Marshall as that one hits the post. Get another look at it here.
I kept watching Pinto to expect the ball to go through to him. With a chance off the post. Off the Georgia State player, then off the post.
Yeah,
wow.
Gonzalez. That deflection almost led to what would have been an own goal, and then a 2-goal Marshall lead. So
it would have been a heartbreaking own goal if that had deflected off of Gonzalez. Carl Romberg to boot this away. Held up in the wind, punched forward, but batted into the goal, and Marshall stretches their lead to 3-1. Off the deflection. The Herd get another.
This is just so difficult to deal with, and it's going to be, I wonder if that'll be credited as an own goal there. It was probably going to cross the line anyway.
Louis Salkeld out of Newcastle, England.
Not sure how that's going to officially be scored. Either way, it goes in as a goal, so don't need to worry about it a ton. Marine, the only thing that you maybe do there is try to, again, just wasn't able to get enough of it, trying to parry it away, just couldn't quite get enough of it out of danger.
Second of the year for Salkeld, and what a time for it. And now with a little over 10 minutes to play in regulation, Georgia State's backs against the wall, their season on the line, and a bunch of fresh bodies coming on for Marshall.
You'd likely think that there are some defensive substitutions and also trying to manage some minutes here as you go down this home stretch.
Howells, Packamoff, and Alvarez all leave. Alvarez, I don't believe, was removed in the first half. So you're right, trying to manage some minutes.
Can be an effective, that can be a part of tournament play. We haven't seen teams have that luxury here.
Yeah.
A 2-goal lead. And again, you look at that 1 goal by Georgia State. It was just to call it what it was directly off a mistake by Marshall. It wasn't as if, the Panthers had been knocking on the door in one particular way or another. So I think that Marshall probably pretty comfortable in trying to manage these final 10 minutes-ish or so here and trying to see this victory through and on to the Sun Belt Tournament semifinals.
10 minutes away from a rematch with West Virginia in 72 hours. That one was in for Jeha. It could not connect.
That was a better sequence, though, there from Georgia State. Just as we say that opportunities have been limited,
and that's where it starts. You put a sequence together, you move the ball the way you want it, get it where you want it, You got to take one step at a time.
Yeah, you get it to the players that you want, right? You're talking about some of your better players getting on the end of that and being involved. It happens all the time, right? We talk about it. We talked about it in the first match, talking about it here. Your players, your big-time players need to step up. The guys you've counted on all season long, you need to count on in these moments.
Louis Salkeld down with an injury, so he'll come out and get treatment, or they'll come to him and get treatment. Haven't seen the rain in a while. The wind has been a persistent part of the evening and afternoon. Some more substitutes getting prepped to come in for Chris Grassie's Thundering Herd. The folks that made the trip up from Huntington make that long drive back on a positive note here if they can hold on for the next 10 minutes and then make it back again in 72 hours.
Yeah, I was curious, and I'm so curious about, I'm assuming Marshall will go back tonight. If they hold on to this one and come back up on Wednesday. But, had Georgia State won that, they're obviously not going to travel back. They would have camped out here. So I wonder if part of the plan, for Marshall would be continue to stay here, train. I have to think, though, that they'll probably make that trip back, get back in their own beds, rest.
Sure.
Make not a terrible amount of travel here to travel back up.
Happy trip down 79 to 64. Herd looking to seal this away in the final 10. Ball ahead and a sprint. Jeha swept away from him.
Trying to go quick here on this throw in.
Marshall leading by the same score which they used to defeat Georgia State the first time. That one swept away. Up top, a deflection, handball is what Georgia State wants to see the call here.
They're going to get that handball call, but it's not going to be in the box. So we'll see a free kick opportunity here for the Panthers. Try to make something wild happen here in the final 10 minutes.
Virgil Dallenall out of Grenoble, France. Off the Marshall wall. Kept alive via the header. And then swept away. Marshall clears. Played off a chest. To this run here from David De La Vibora. Up the left edge. Time for a fourth for the Herd. Romberg weighs his options.
It was a smart play. Nothing there in possession. On the attack there.
And again, time is your friend if you're wearing green and white. Balls like that just melt that clock. Contact between Sandro Rabaravoni and I believe High Pinto. Missed the connection with Tom Williams.
Just can't happen there if you're Georgia State. You need some magic. You can't afford those types of mistakes.
Brett Surrency looking into his bag of tricks to see if he can pull out a couple last ones. Fujita sweeps this away. Marine triggers the offense. The right flank, Philadelphia. Looking to link up with Jeha. Back toward Philadelphia. Off the deflection. And a foul call. And for Georgia State, precious seconds ticking away.
Yeah, Marshall's going to take their time in setting this up and going forward. And again, Marshall's been just so good in possession. This is a good opportunity here for the Thundering Herd to kill another minute or two. And you know, the pressure from Georgia State just hasn't been effective.
Stiff kick into the breeze. State plays this ahead. Good ball from Williams through Romero Garmendia to Matthew Taylor. Off the deflection, Taylor able to win it again. Another deflection. Left corner for Joel Gonzalez.
There's some good defensive efforts there by Marshall. Just 1v1 situations. That's so much of what this game comes down to. Marshall won both of those scenarios just now.
Trying to play Lone Marine up. Keep this in the offensive end with 5 minutes to play. Marshall 5 minutes and 72 hours away from a rematch with West Virginia. Matchup that went in favor of the Mountaineers the first time around on Halloween night. Good slide into Biravoni. Taylor gets it back. We'll try the right side, Philadelphia. Chipped in, Gonzalez brings it down and tried to swing the left leg around, and they were offsides. I caught that with a hand as well.
Yeah, Gonzalez, I think that one popped up, got a handball called on him, and it's just, if that touch is there, you know, maybe something can happen. This final little stretch here, Georgia State trying to do everything it can. Marshall pretty content to sit and defend and manage this result.
Marshall fans cheering because they're excited, also because they're cold and they want to stay warm. Works both ways. But a season for Lone Marine. Transfer from Presbyterian, 64 goals. You mentioned that earlier, Adam. It's been a big addition to this Georgia State team.
Yeah, didn't have to make a ton of saves tonight. But, you know, the ones that went through couldn't really do much with them.
Marshall created a lot of traffic in front of the goal. The final one, a third, scored off a deflection.
Yeah.
Second chance opportunity.
This result is really, you know, I'm thinking this result is more about Marshall than anything about Georgia State, to be quite honest with you. This is, you know, again, still a couple of minutes left in this, but this is a clinical Marshall performance.
Controlled the pace, controlled the tempo. What a block. Chipped into the box. And really, to be honest with you, Marshall has denied Georgia State's leading goal scorer, Samir Jeha. We saw him get a couple opportunities in the first half, but really when it came in at the 60-minute mark, we've not seen a whole lot from him or heard a whole lot from him.
No, it's been, Matthew Taylor, I think, who's been the more viable target for Georgia State in this one.
Down the left edge. Good ball for Marshall in the counterattack. Stepping inside, it's slide tackle. Ipinto working through all the contact, almost managed to get a shot away. He better watch out to make sure he doesn't get a card here. Coming up on the final minute, Gonzalez leaves his left side. Tom Williams ships it in. Jayhawk cannot run this one down. UCF and Georgia Southern tied in the 85th minute. Tied at 2. This one may be the only match of the day that doesn't go to any sort of overtime. Kentucky and West Virginia won earlier quarterfinals in matches that went to PKs. Marshall heads this away. Romero Garmendia chips it in, and this Marshall defense has been everywhere. Philadelphia on goal, looking for Jayha, and he is snuffed out.
Georgia State looks like they're going to get one more corner opportunity.
They have to hustle to get there. We had 10 seconds left. Chipped in. They can't turn this one. Williams sends it wide. And the Marshall Thundering Herd begin their journey in the Sun Belt Conference Tournament with a 3-1 win over Georgia State. Same score they beat the Panthers by earlier this season. They came about the result a different way. I like the word you used a moment ago, Adam Zundel, clinical.
Yeah, this was what you expect to see from Marshall. Save the mistake that led to the Georgia State goal. On top of the ball, possession, controlling the match, go when they want to go, slow things down when they want it to go slow. Not a ton of shots on goal and things like that, but this was an overwhelming performance in terms of possession, which is what Marshall needed to do to get through to the semifinals on Wednesday night.
A lot to cheer for the green and white. They win 3-1, and now an updated look at the bracket. There's that rematch, West Virginia and Marshall on Wednesday at 7 o'clock, while Kentucky awaits the winner of UCF and Georgia Southern, deadlocked late in the second half. They may be headed to overtimes. 2 of these 4 quarters already today went to PKs. We'll see what happens with UCF and Georgia Southern. First time West Virginia and Marshall met, a classic. It was no tricks, all treats for West Virginia. 2 goals from Marcos Caldera.
Yeah, and the hometown boy, Dante Huckabee, scores as well. I mean, you know, again, Marcus Caldera came up big against Marshall. He did that a couple of years ago. It's going to maybe need another performance like that to send West Virginia on to the finals. Marshall was not at its best, I don't think, in that day. Expect to see a better version of the Thundering Herd on Wednesday night.
So for our entire crew, Roger Lenhart's our producer, Ben West, our director, Adam Zundel, my partner, my name's Eric Little. Thank you for joining us from Morgantown this evening as Marshall knocks off Georgia State in the Sun Belt Conference quarterfinals. This broadcast is a presentation of ESPN. All events are streaming and archived on the ESPN app. Thank you for watching. I'm Eric Little. Good evening from Morgantown.
If you have to ask why it's important to start your day early, here's your answer.
Save on breakfast and enjoy a sausage McMuffin with egg. Get 2 for just $5.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Introducing Verts. Swipe for news and highlights. Now available on the ESPN app.
Welcome to the greatest show on earth. Oh, yes, sir. The ball is already rolling now for this new season.
Hey, welcome back to what should be a thrilling second half.
Plan your commute around this dreary Monday morning.
Absolutely electric tonight.
Wait! Wait, wait, wait! Go, go, go! Yeah!
Two super fights for the ages.
It is a big fight field in New York City, baby.
Aw, made you look. Getting big money. Playboy, your time's up.
Formula One is not following the script.
It's lights out and away we go.
Formula One all season long on ABC, ESPN, and streaming on the all-new ESPN app.
Welcome back to what should be a thrilling second half.
If you have to ask why it's important to start your day early, here's your answer.
Save on breakfast and enjoy a sausage McMuffin with egg. Get 2 for just $5.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
2, please.
Make that 3. With the Capital One Saver Card, you earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment.
Are you in this one?
Get your tentacles off my 3% cash back. Perfect delivery. What's in your wallet?
Don't just watch the game. Change it.
Let's make the system.
Football Manager 26. Unifying the fate of your club.
5, yeah?
Be the difference.
Football Manager 26. It's time to change the game.
Clorox Scentiva. Cleans like Clorox. Smells like cherry blossom. Experience long-lasting freshness with new Clorox Scentiva Cherry Blossom.
Officer! Officer! Could I get your perspective as a man of the law?
You know I'm a mall cop, right?
Let's say I obtain a car for less than you think it'd cost.
I don't follow.
You see this Hyundai Santa Fe?
Yeah.
Guess how much I paid for it.
Enjoy the new car.
Deal so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on select Hyundai vehicles. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
T-Mobile is the best place to get the powerful new iPhone 17. Hold on, is this big enough?
Is what big enough?
I sure dance. I mean, you gotta feel it. 4 iPhones, no trade-in. I got rhythm.
Get fired up. At T-Mobile, get 4 iPhone 17s on us. No trade-in needed when you switch. Plus, 4 lines for just $25 a line.
I'm gonna do a flip. Nailed it.
Whatever energy drink she had, I want some.
It's all happening too fast.
What, you nervous about the wedding?
No, it's the house, dude. We got approved.
Bro, don't stress. This house, it's the one.
Speaking of the one, caterer. We need a caterer.
Trust me once you know what my life's gonna feel like. Nothing else will feel right. 'Cause it feels so mystical.